Bedford's news talk station, Brian's Beat, 1420 WBSM.
All right, I've got a lot of calls and little time. I'm not gonna talk much. All right, I'm gonna go to the phones right now. You're on with Tom Simmons. Hello.
Hi. There's only two things, and I'm going to be quick about it. Unless they change the law, the gentleman that was talking about senior citizens going to a state college or university, you only pay the student fees if you're a senior, and if they have an opening in the class, because the tuition is a separate issue. Now, this $125,000 maximum that you can go to tuition free that they're talking about, again, anyone who's been through college, like when I was in the 70s and so forth, student fees are separate from your tuition. Are they including the student fees in there? Because we used to get student fees a lot cheaper than they do today. Today, student fees are way up there. They're about as much as the tuition costs are.
Great question. Tom, do you want to try to answer that?
Actually, the student fees right now are far higher than the tuition is.
Wow.
The tuition is actually very, very low, especially at state schools and community colleges. It's the fees that are charged that are actually the largest part of the student's bill.
Well, give me an idea. At Greenfield Community College, it must be the same at all the community colleges, but what is the fee? What's the tuition, first of all?
Well, you can, let's say, a typical student can go full-time to community college for a semester for $2,500. That is without any, Pell Grant or financial aid or anything else. Of that $2,500, probably $2,000 of it is fees and $500 tuition.
$2,500 was my total 1 year last year at North Adams State College.
And the student fees were a lot less than the tuition.
Oh, listen. I remember the campus center fee was about $17.50. Other fees were in that range. The biggest expense for me in college, it seemed to be the books.
Books.
All right, 508-996-0500. You're on with our guest, Tom Simmons.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I agree and disagree. I don't think the government should be paying for education like that. I think parents have an obligation. I think the whole society has an obligation to obviously educate us, but it should be a portion and not just free education. I've said that with health care, and I've certainly said that with education. And I certainly make less than $125,000, and then we're struggling. I mean, my son is in debt for about $42,000. My daughter's at $28,000 right now, and I've helped pay for that. Now, if the government had kicked in, maybe a third of that or possibly a half of that, then that would have been more manageable for them, for me, and I think everybody wins. But to get free education out there, I decided to have kids. I'm not expecting the government to pay for that. It's my responsibility, and I wish they would help out. And I said the same thing with health care. What are your thoughts?
Thank you for your call.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take it a step further, and maybe I'm going to sound like a bad dad here. Actually, not your responsibility. It's their responsibility. There's nothing wrong with telling young people, if you want to purchase this product, this educational product, then maybe you take a year or two off after high school, and maybe you go to work, and maybe you save up, and maybe you work part-time, and maybe you go to a community college instead of that party school you want to go to, or you work things out. When I went to college, and this was in the late 70s and early 80s.
Unfortunately, I got to cut you with that just because of time. But okay. I get your point, and I'm going to try to get you back on here again because this is going to be a huge topic, especially if Trump keeps on putting his foot in his mouth.
Count on it.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Tom Simmons, college professor, actually the co-chair of the Business and Economics Department at Greenfield Community College, joining us today on Brian's Beat.
Brian's Beat.